All right, let's get started. Good morning, STrEAM Academy. Welcome. It's great to have everyone here on Zoom and everyone that pops in as we go. And of course, our YouTube audience, those who jump on and watch live, there's always a few. And then what we find is we have quite a few people who join us at this time, and they watch feed later and tell us about it, which is pretty cool. I am coming to you live from my office today, which is a change for me. So Wednesday has been my work from home day, and primarily because I live in Palmer, and it's a little bit of a trek to get in here. And I do morning coffee right off the bat on Wednesday morning, and then our staff meeting, and then I have other meetings. It's a really Zoom heavy day. So for me, it works out pretty well to just Zoom all day from my home office. But I'm here today for an exciting reason. We have our first group of students that is meeting face-to-face, a very small group of students, or perhaps two. We might be doing two groups at two separate times. Miss Goodman and Miss Smith's eighth grade class, a big forest project, forestry and forest fire project going on. Really heavy project based, which is awesome. And they have some hands-on science that is going to be done, some tree coring. And so we have permission to have a small group of students meet with Miss Goodman and I this afternoon, and we're going to go do some tree coring. So it'll be the first face-to-face small group that we're exploring very safely, very clear safety protocols in place. We'll be masked up. We're not going in the building. We're staying outside, which is one of the biggest safety mitigations you can have. And we're going to keep social distancing. We're going to hand sanitize. We're going to take every precaution, of course. And the group is really small. So that's why I'm here at school today. I'm super good. My trusty co-host is here with me today, Ms. Beyondich. Good morning, Ms. Beyondich. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Mr. McKelkey. Good morning, streamers. It's great. It's a great day at Anchorage STrEAM Academy. I'm excited to see some eighth graders come and do some coring today.
Yeah. Yesterday, we had our first students in the building since March. And so it felt like a real small thing because we had only 2 students here that needed some additional support and just needed to be here and be able to get online and work and have reliable internet and a little bit of tutoring from Mr. B. It felt like it looked like a small thing because there's 1 student in 1 room downstairs, 1 student in 1 room upstairs. There are only 5 or 6 people in the building total. But in reality, I realized it was, in a way, it was a monumental thing because it's time we have had students in our building since March. And so that was pretty amazing. It went really well. We're able to practice our safety protocols, get our toes wet a little bit, to testing out all of our protocols with having students come in the building and be here in a pretty low key way with just 2 students. They wore their masks the entire time. It was good reminders for me when I step out of my office to make absolutely sure I got my mask on. We practiced our protocols, which will be a STrEAM specific protocol that's just us that we came up with is because we have a sink in every single classroom in this building. One of our protocols is anytime anyone walks into a room, the first thing they'll do is wash their hands. And so, of course, I need to model that. So anytime I walked into Mr. B or Mr. Mozen's space yesterday, I went straight to the sink, washed my hands first. So the students were serious about that. But we had a couple of students in our building, and it was pretty neat. It was pretty cool to get to talk to kids.
It was good. The first kid that walked in yesterday morning, I said, "Welcome back from spring break."
That's been a long spring break. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. It's been quite a spring break. Yeah, so that was cool yesterday and today. Anchorage STrEAM Academy empowers students to be involved learners, critical thinkers, and engaged citizens who are inspired, by the natural world. That is our mission. And good morning. I think I already said good morning. Is there anyone else who wants to share? I just shared a bunch of positive, good things. Anyone else who wants to share something awesome? Could be school related, or it could just be something that you want to share. Ms. Yip has something that I'm going to attempt to join her on. The chair of our APC. We have a couple APC members here this morning. Good morning, Jen Mickelson, and Gail Yip, two APC members. Mrs. Yip, Chairperson Yip, would you like to tell us about the exciting thing we're going to start tomorrow?
Oh, okay. Jake Parker many years ago started Inktober, and it's a chance for old artists, new artists, anyone in between, if you want to draw with ink and then color, or just draw with ink. He has prompts. It's called Inktober 2020. There's a list with something for each day. I got my notebook ready. I did it last year for the first time. It was really fun. It was a good chance to grow as an artist. And if your child is into art, this might be something that just to get them going, just have fun with it. Doesn't have to be something they share unless they want to. They're welcome to email me at the school district. It's yip_Gail with all the same ASD whatevers. And it's just fun. And it's a good challenge to have to do it every day, because by doing it every day, you get better. Practice.
Awesome. Thank you. I am going to try to do Inktober. I'm committed to doing Inktober with Mrs. Yip. I'm not the artist she is. I'm a little bit artistic, just enough to dabble, but I will endeavor to post some of the Inktober info on our social medias, and if folks want to play along, and Miss Yip and I will be posting our Inktober stuff to share. And so if anyone wants to participate, send me a picture of, or Miss Viondich, a picture of your Inktober work for each day, and we'll share that on our social media and get that out there. One of our board members, Jen Mickelson, was just doing a little free advertising. You want to do some more free advertising for us? Hold that up, and I saw you take a sip of your coffee. So yes, we still have a few of those beauties available, and when they're gone forever. That is not a school fundraiser. It is a fundraiser for our nonprofit, for the 501c3 of STrEAM. And so that, talk to Mrs. Bionich if you want one of those beautiful coffee mugs. They make great gifts. Yeah, get one of those. Okay, what else is on the agenda today? We have a lot of upcoming dates to remind you of. Today is the last day to order STrEAM gear, and again, free advertising from board members. Our chair, Ms. Yip, it looks like, Gail, you're wearing your STrEAM. Are you wearing your STrEAM hoodie? I knew it. Ms. Yip is wearing one of those beautiful STrEAM hoodies from a local vendor, Dooley's. Support local, especially during the pandemic. Local businesses need our help and our support. And support STREAM Academy by rocking your STREAM gear. I was reminded yesterday that with recruiting students and growing our school, this is our 5th year, and we've worked really hard to grow our program. And from the beginning, what we've learned and what has repeatedly been true and reinforced is the #1 way, far and away, that we get students and families is word of mouth. We've spent money on advertising. I've spoken at all kinds of different venues. We've used social media a lot. Some people are, say, oh, Scotty, you got to be on social media, which we do. But the #1 way that families come to STREAM is word of mouth. It's hearing from one of you, from a board member, from a parent, from a staff member about STREAM Academy. We had a student come in yesterday, hoping to get in, take one of our few seats that are open. And it was word of mouth. It was a former board member, and also they knew a former student who had done really well. So can't beat that. Rock your STREAM gear. spread the good word about our awesome program. All right, so upcoming dates to remember. We have this weird thing in October where the district almost always has 2 Fridays in October that have no school. And then we have an additional Friday where we don't have school in our calendar because of Wayland Baptist's fall graduation. So our lease stipulates there are 2 days a year that we will not have school in the building. And those dates are the Wayland Baptist fall and spring graduation. So their graduations are a big deal. Their parking lot is really, really, really full, and it's a college graduation. It's a big deal, and so it's just really not feasible for us to be in the building at all. And so you might be asking, are they really going to have a full graduation, and do we really need to not have school that day? The answer to that is, if I could pull it back this year, I would. I'd get the day back, but our calendar waivers, to do anything outside of the regular calendar, we have to submit a waiver every year. And so I submit that to the state in the spring for the coming year. So the school district and the Department of Education, Alaska Department of Education and Early Development, have approved our calendar a long time ago, and we would have had to submit to change that. It's a big process. So the short of it is, we don't have school 3 Fridays in a row in October. We don't have school Friday the 9th, Friday the 16th, Friday the 23rd. That's 3 consecutive Fridays we do not have school. Our staff has professional development, and they're working. Of course, the end of the quarter comes, and so some of that time is the staff grading and finishing up first quarter, and some professional development and catching up on things. So no school 3 Fridays in October: October 9th, October 16th, October 23rd. The last day of the quarter is the 16th, Friday the 16th. Really, the last school day of the quarter then is Thursday, October 15th. First quarter ends. So all of the students will switch their cohort grouping over to second quarter. So anyone who has math and science will switch over, and they'll have language arts, social studies, and vice versa. Everyone who has Mr. Perkins and Mr. Mozen for language arts and social studies, starting on October 19th, they will have Mr. B and Mr. H for science and social science and math. We do have a plan. We're developing a plan for conferences on October 21st and 22nd. Those aren't school days. Those are conference days. And again, why do we do that when we're teaching virtual? Because those days are already set as not school days, and that calendar is approved by the state of Alaska, and the district did not have time to change that. The district actually considered making those regular school days, but the timeline doesn't work to change something with the school district of that magnitude. It has to be a non-item with the school board. And so then the following meeting is an action item and then submitted to the state. So to change the calendar for the school district, you're looking at like a 3 to 4 month timeline. So student-led conferences, we have a plan for that. We'll be offering some Zoom sessions for you to meet with teachers and talk with them, and we'll be rolling that out soon. So those are lots of important upcoming dates in October. October is always a fast, furious, busy month. It's my entire career, my 21st year in public education in Alaska, and every year I say this, and every year it's true. October is always the fastest month. There are always so many things going on in October, and it just boom, it goes. So buckle up. Starts tomorrow. What else is on our agenda, Mrs. Beyondich? I feel like I've been talking way too much. Why don't you tell us a few things that are coming up today?
Yeah, now that you've said everything, there's nothing left for me to talk about. I do want to encourage everybody that the gear store will close at the end of the day today. So if they need to buy anything, they should definitely get online and do that. I put it in the chat line on YouTube and in the chat line for the Zoom session. It's also on the front page of the website. So all you have to do is log on to our website, and under STrEAM News, there's a link for the gear store.
I think this is our last cohort group to present for the first rounds, if I'm correct. And so the plan is to have each cohort pair of teachers present each quarter. So we won't have a cohort pair. I don't believe we'll have a cohort pair present the next 2 weeks. And then we'll start over with that rotation second quarter because they'll have all new students. So new audience to talk to about what went on in their cohorts. So that's the big highlight today that we have is coming up here soon. Turn it over to Mr. Perkins and Mr. Mozen. And they are our 7th grade team for social studies and English language arts. So they're teaching social studies in ELA, they're collaborating and doing stuff together, sharing classes. They've been a pretty dynamic pair. And so they're going to tell you what's going on in 7th grade and give you a chance to talk to them and ask some questions today. We want to remind you that it is ELearning Wednesday. It is a school day. Tell your children, tell students it's a school day. We expect students working on their iReady lessons to progress in language arts and math. We expect students to be working in ALEX. I've sent home postcards to our students that have been doing the most work. And we've got some really impressive work being done in our online math curriculum. We've got a couple students who are 50% of the way through their course in ALEX. And some of those are like high-level courses like math, algebra, and geometry. And so if you're already 50% of the way through your ALEX course, you're really doing awesome. And I sent a nice postcard if you're in that group that's really kicked it into gear. So definitely some time in your math curriculum would be awesome. We really especially want to stay on our students who might have Mr. Perkins and Mr. Mozen, or 6th or 8th grade, they're only in ELA and Social Studies first quarter, because although that's the format the district put out and that everyone's doing, our concern from the start was to have students not have any math for a quarter concerns me. We're as a STEM school, and just understanding that it really takes constant work and progression. And so we really want to encourage all of our students to be working regularly on math, but especially if you don't have math this quarter, it is especially important that you do some math on Wednesdays. You keep building those skills and keep that somewhat fresh. So
just a quick reminder that we've put suggested e-learning schedules on our website. And so all you have to do is go to our website and hover over the links, the channels at the top, and you'll find one that says ELearning Wednesday. I think that's on the families page.
Yes. All right. So that's what's happening in STREAM world today. We can talk a little bit later in the show about second quarter plans. We have started to put together our STREAM specific plan for first quarter, and it's similar in a lot of ways to what we rolled out for first quarter, to try to provide a lot of stability for our staff and for our students. And so the plan that we've put together and proposed will go to our APC October 14th for a final approval. And so we can talk a little bit about what second quarter will look like at STREAM. But I think now I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Perkins and Mr. Mozen and allow them to tell us all the awesome things happening in their 7th grade cohort. Good morning, Mr. Perkins and Mr. Mozen. The floor is yours.
Hey, Adam, this is Mr. Mozen. I'm going to talk at first. Could you stop sharing your screen? And so I could fill the screen with my presence. Mr. Perkins and I teach arts, and he teaches social studies. One of the positive byproducts of this new learning format is that we have fewer subjects to keep track of, and I think it allows the students and teachers to focus more on what we're doing. So it's been a pleasure to collaborate with Mr. Perkins. He and I talk daily. It's a little wild how much we talk, and I feel like the students can never play one of us off the other, which can happen when you have 6 or 7 teachers. here I'm going to share my whiteboard, just a little overview. Mr. Perkins teaches social studies. He's focusing on government. I'm teaching language arts, focusing on argumentative writing and recreational reading. And then we have a mission vision class that we teach together, focusing on photography and advocacy. And in photography, it's perspectives in photography, and advocacy, how do you save what you love? I have a very, we've been working on argumentative writing, which, and talking about debate and the style and format of how one can discuss opposing views. We had a really great non-example of that last night, if anybody got to watch the debates, and that would not happen in one of our classes. We would shut that down, but so I feel like it's very timely that we are teaching argumentative writing. My students have a large essay due, they have a rough draft due last night, and then they will be turning in their final draft, starting working on it this week. We're talking about risk and rescue, 3 readings, and a guest speaker. And now they're putting together their introduction, the reason and evidence, the opposing claim, giving credit to someone who has a different view of theirs, and then their conclusion. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Sometimes I don't know if it's working or not. So that's in a nutshell what I am working on with my students, along with 20 minutes of reading every day at the start of class. And they have a reading journal that they're filling out with their reflections on how they read. They talk to me about their books. They show me their books every day, tell me what page they're on, a little bit about what's happening. And I guess my struggle, I'd like to get some support from the parents, is just getting more feedback from the students, thumbs up, talking, their shyness, a lot of tendencies to turn off the video. So that's one of our struggles. I have a page to share. Well, I want Mr. Perkins to talk a little bit because no one wants to hear one person for too long. And then I'm going to share a little bit about mission vision, our joint vision that we're really excited about, tying together our disciplines of social studies and language arts. But Mr. Perkins, just a little bit about government, and then I'm going to share a little bit about what we are doing in mission vision, and then then we'll share some photographs. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I'm Scott Perkins. I teach the 7th grade social studies this year. I've been with STrEAM since year 1, so it's been super exciting and challenging to be a part of STrEAM and watch it grow and develop and see what it's become today. And just a little bit about what social studies has been working on for the first quarter. A lot of civics centered activities. With it being an election year, it's always fun to tie in some current events to what's going on. Some of that's pretty easy to digest, and for some it's hard to stomach, but either way, it's good exposure to what our students will be like when they do become engaged citizens in the future. For this first quarter, we've been focusing on different types of government. We're looking at the 3 branches of our government, and now we're going to get into the Bill of Rights. I'm excited for the wrap up the quarter with the Create Your Own Government project. It's always fun for students to kind of, they themselves write a letter of Declaration of Independence. It's kind of a hate letter, just kind of sharing their grievances, and they create their own Bill of Rights. They need to create a constitution and a government that they feel would create the happiest citizens in their world. So it's always exciting to see what kind of ideas the kids can come up with. So yeah, a little bit about what the 7th graders are experiencing with social studies.
Great. Mr. Perkins and I scratch our heads, our bald heads, and think, well, how can we get these kids outside? And when we came up with our mission vision, we decided photography would be a good start, and it would tie into our bigger project that we are moving towards, which is advocacy. So Mr. Perkins has been leading the photography lessons. Your children you may have seen them with their phones and cameras. And if your child doesn't have us and they're in 7th grade, they will have us next quarter. So this is pertinent to any 7th grader. We had them go outside and photograph things in nature, look at some of the Latin names, and look up Latin names of plants or animals. We had them go out and photograph things from above, below, different perspectives. We really like the word perspective because it has a visual meaning as well as a social, political meaning that we are moving towards. So one of the final projects that they're working on right now is photographing a place that they have identified as a place they love. I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. On one of our warm-ups, we had the students share some ideas of places that they love here in the area. A lot of them are here in the area. The end of the road, the skate park, cul-de-sac, Cheney Lake, Beluga Point. They're just thinking about places they love here in Anchorage. And where we're moving with this is in the photography world, we have a final assignment to photograph that place you love from different perspectives. And we are, as of yesterday, moving into a new part of our mission vision, which is talking about how do you save places that you love if they have a threat. And so we've identified a couple of topics and controversial development plans in Alaska. We started yesterday with the Susitna Dam project and just talking about people that want it for power and why we need power, and people that didn't want it because of the need for maintaining the Susitna River as an intact watershed without a dam. And it's been a great combination of language arts, argumentative essay, learning to what you stand for, stating your claim, and also giving credit to and understanding the opposing claims. It has been great for government, knowing how government is responsible for and can be influenced to make decisions to maybe help you advocate for a place you love. And then the science aspect can't be ignored. And in looking at, for instance, the Susitna River controversy, the dam, we talked about, needing to understand the natural history. For instance, they focused on the salmon and just understanding some of the really fine detailed points that we maybe are not ready to fully understand now, but it's obvious why we need to study science and learn and be dedicated students and teachers so that when we do find something that we love and we want to fight for it, we understand the science involved. So we're pretty excited about our mission vision being a project that encompasses what we do in our other 2 classes. And we've had a lot of fun with the photography, and we thought we'd end our little talk with some photos that the students took recently, and they're being creative and getting outside and hopefully being safe and surviving this time of virtual learning.
So over first quarter, we've had various different assignments to challenge the students to develop their photography skills. And I just wanted to show off some of them. You don't really know what to expect when you yourself haven't taken a photography class in the better part of 1 or 2 decades. You choose which. And then you guys, or the students, were able to a lot of soft skills were developed in this project, how to take a photo, then get it from a photo to a computer, then from a computer to a slideshow, and then edit and crop and size. So, you know, the success rate has been great once with the students learned how to upload those photos. And I just wanted to share a few examples with you and just share the success our students have been having. So bear with me while I click on far too many times than I need to share a screen. There it is. I'll present when I can. So as Mr. Mozen said, composition techniques and perspectives is what we were focusing on. So here's just some examples. The students really, this composition technique is called leading lines. So it's using either natural lines or man-made lines to draw a person deeper into a picture. And you can see that when we were talking about perspective, adjusting your height in relation to your subject is a really fun effect. So you can see the picture on the far left, it looks like a hand railing of sorts, but they got super low and close. That's called worm's eye view. And it makes a picture more interesting than if you were just standing as a normal height and looking at things like that. Also, it is kind of fun to see the various environments which students find photographic. If they go out and about for the day or the weekend, usually it's the kids take advantage of taking some photos. The photo of the person on the bridge. It's always nice to have a brother or sister around to help you be a model in those situations. So it's very fun and clever to see how kids are using the people they live with and their surroundings to take on this challenge. Oops, must have jumped really far. That's okay. We'll do forced perspective. Speaking of perspective, forced perspective is you might have seen a lot of them of people pinching the moon, or the holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa is a pretty popular one. And so I challenge the kids to come up with their own. Here's a car on a skateboard, a tree growing out of a head. Let's keep looking. Oh, internal frame is another one. You know, some of these are just super creative. The photo with the chickens there, that looks straight out of you know, Little House on the Prairie. It's very impressive, and I'm just impressed with what these students take photos of and how they can you know, use different props and techniques in their everyday lives. Pattern and texture is a really popular one. Just repeating ideas, and a lot of things will become thematic for where they are. I think the extra tough boots is a pretty good symbol of who we are and as Alaskans, and I'm glad the student was able to incorporate that into their photo. Of course, being virtual, keyboard is right in front of them, so why not take a picture of it? And even though it's just a simple old keyboard, changing your perspective and throwing in a little composition technique is super clever and creative. That larger picture on the top, it's probably one of my favorites, because when I first looked at it, I thought they just captured a picture of the Milky Way from Google Images or something like that. And so we had a deep talk about it, and like, no, it's just a crummy piece of rust. But the way it turned out, it looks, you know, it's really hard to tell what it is. So it's been really fun each student has come up with really something that's really cool and creative. And it's not only fun for me as a teacher to see these kids develop their photography techniques, but it also is fun for us to celebrate students and show their work to their classmates. So it's been a really good experience, and students can give advice and ideas to one another, and they actually go out and use it. Sometimes when, as a teacher, we say, you should try this, and they go, okay, whatever, Mr. Perkins. But if a student says, you should try this, it's much better received. And it's been a really fun process to be a part of that. So forced perspective was the one that the kids really got into. A lot of holding things in hands. It appeared to be a common theme. I like the levitating pumpkin. That's always fun. Water bottles was also a major prop involved in the forced perspective. You can see way over here, it's a gentleman in a white shirt. It's kind of walking into the water bottle. Little sister getting captured by a water bottle. this one I liked because it reminded me kind of a trophy. You just get a little league trophy or something like that. Just really fun and creative things. And on the note that if you didn't have a brother and sister, you can always use something else. A lot of toys and props are involved. Dogs and toys. The one on the right is titled Staring Contest. The dog and the dinosaur kind of mean mugging each other. It was just very fun and creative. I like the ice cream cone in the sunset. So there's some examples for you to see. You know, it's been really fun for me to kind of reevaluate my own photography through looking at what these guys do. It's just a fun, lifelong hobby, and I hope the students have an opportunity to continue to take photos. Fall's such a wonderful time of the year to be outside and look at the colors and take photos. So if anything, I hope they have developed an appreciation for taking pictures and photography, and I hope it continues beyond just first quarter. So thank you for watching this little slideshow, and I hope you enjoyed seeing some of our student works.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Perkins. Those are really cool. And I look forward to seeing more of them. That's the first time I got to see those, actually. So that was cool. Thank you, Mr. Mozen and Mr. Perkins. Thanks, Aaron, and talking about all of the great things that are happening. There are a lot of great things happening in our 7th grade language arts and social studies and projects classes. So yeah, that was great. Thank you. I'll pause for a moment. Are there any questions for Mr. Mozen or Mr. Perkins from our parents that are on? Any questions? You can just grab the mic or use your little blue hand. I just saw a blue hand and it disappeared. Where'd it go? Jessica Sully, go ahead.
Yeah, that's probably me. And I should have just dove in. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Everyone, Mr. Everyone. So yeah, I have a new 7th grader over at STrEAM, and he's making it through, and he loves all the photography stuff.
Awesome.
My question is regarding feedback, specifically on written assignments. Is the feedback primarily, because I know it's really hard to meet with every kid, let them know what they can be doing better. Is that primarily just in the notes connected to their Canvas assignments? Or is there another way they're getting feedback that maybe I'm just not aware of since I'm not in on all the Zoom calls?
That is a great question. And I'll let Mr. Perkins and Mr. Mozen talk more about different ways they're giving feedback. I will share school-wide what I know our teachers are doing is they have their synchronous Zoom sessions planned. And then what I've seen is our teachers are leaving sessions open and staying on afterwards, and either asking students specifically to stay so they can give them feedback or talk to them, or just leaving it open for students to follow up with them and have that sort of informal office hours, if you will, time. And so Mr. Mozen is actually teaching in room 6 and right here. So I get to see his class. And a lot of times when I'll pop in to see him, he won't be in a teaching session, but he'll have an open session where he's talking to students and giving feedback and that type of thing. So I know that's a tool they've developed. Mr. Perkins or Mr. Mozen, do you want to talk any more about how you're specifically giving feedback on assignments?
You're muted, Mozen. Mozen, you are muted. Unless he's talking to nobody.
Hey, host muted me. Okay. All right. If I am being heard, that's a great question. I'm new at the this Canvas thing, and I am experimenting with different ways of giving feedback. And I know this last rough draft was the last written assignment I've given, and there's a option to have peer editing, but I'm not sure how to implement that. So I write a few things on when they turn it in, and then we have had breakout rooms where students can share and talk with each other and read to each other what they've written. And 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 what they've that, like, that yesterday was the first day they really had turned in something sort of long for me, and I'm finding that I do need to give them more structure on the editing part, because if I make comments, say, come see me, I'm not getting or, let's meet in a breakout room. There's a lot of reluctance to do that. So I'm going to check in with some of the other language arts teachers and see if I can get some new and creative ideas for that. So good question.
Thanks so much, Mr. Mozen.
Just from my side, I know, Dallas is new and the school is new and virtual is new. So what I typically try to do is I'll try to just throw a general comment when they do submit stuff, and the comment tries to make it directed to what they turned in. For a teacher, a lot of times we'll make a comment and we don't know how the lifespan of that comment, if it's ever read, or if it's, do they review what their grade was and the comments and things like that. So I continue to try to make comments. The Canvas has also that personal email feature, which if a student's been missing Zoom a handful of times, or they haven't done a pretty important assignment, I will reach out through there as well. So there are different avenues. Again, with like Mr. Mozen, we're exploring what's best, and oftentimes it depends on the student, how that student likes to be contacted. So it could be through a breakout room, like Mr. Mozen said, a one-on-one time. It could be through the private chat that we're using in this Zoom meeting. It could be through email, through comments on assignments. So there's lots of options. And if you're looking for more feedback for Dallas, we would gladly like to explore what that would look like to help support Dallas.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Perkins. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Awesome. Any other questions? I put this quote up to share with you. I don't know if you call it a quote, because I don't know if it's directly attributed to anyone, but it's something I've seen for a while. And Mozen and I were talking yesterday when we headed out for our run in the park, and he was talking about the value of just show up. Just show up is like, it's a work ethic thing. It's a the first step towards success is show up. And I said, yeah, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. And he said, what? He hadn't heard that. So I defined JPEG of that for him and send it to him because he liked it. So I had Mozen on today, and Mr. Mozen and Mr. Perkins are, to me, are two people who exemplify, we throw a totally new challenge at somebody, and how do they respond to that? And they're two teachers that I've asked different things of regularly. And Mr. Perkins started the school with me, frankly. He's been here. He's part of our core staff that's been here since day one, since we opened the doors. And I don't know how many things I've asked you to do, Scott, how many different things I've asked you to do. And totally different things. And Scott always says, okay, I'll figure that out. And he figures it out, and he makes it awesome for kids. So Mr. Mozen got thrown a total curveball. He's probably doing the most different this year from what he's done prior for us. If that makes sense. Just he's the one I asked to do something that is probably the most different from what they were doing prior to pandemic and changing everything we do in education. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate both of these gentlemen, and how awesome of a job they've done, and how cool it is to see the things they're doing with kids. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Adam.
Team MoPerk, good job.
Thank you, Mr. Mozen, and thank you, Mr. Perkins. I just wanted to say something about the feedback from teams that I know that they might want to say too, if that's okay.
I skipped ahead 2 slides to the slide that says Canvas with our
Look at
resident
that.
Emily Smith. So
Oh my gosh.
I'll give you the floor to follow up and talk about how we're using Canvas and feedback, and any updates on Canvas or related tech tools for parents.
Okay, great. Yeah, you ask an awesome question. And this is why, just reiterating many times over, why I love coming to Morning Coffee and why I so appreciate parents asking questions like that. Thank you for asking, how do I view feedback? Because it's, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, we haven't said enough about how to do that. So I can show you something quick on Canvas, how your student would see it. And this is also, so you got to make me a co-host. So number one, parents, if you're not already a Canvas observer on student's Canvas account, you should sign up to do that. It's information's on our website. And then once you're a Canvas observer, you're going to see everything on your student's Canvas account as if you are the student. You can even email teachers through your Canvas account. So what you're seeing on my shared Zoom screen right now is a student view of a Canvas account, and I'm on the 8th grade team. My name is Emily Smith. So you're viewing our projects class. So just and as far as the messages, parents will be like on their students' account and like just looking over things and helping their students navigate stuff. And they'll message me here on inbox. And that's totally awesome. And I love it. You can, of course, email us too, but that's really sweet. And the kids like there too, and typing in their information. That's really great. Okay, so how to view feedback on Canvas. So Mr. Mozen and Mr. Perkins talked about wonderful ways that we're all using. Some other things that I know some of the other teachers are using other than Canvas. They're doing mini conferencing like during Zoom class. Like the first half of the class is like instruction, and the second half is kids are in breakout rooms and the teachers are popping in and going over, and kids are like in individual breakout rooms and the teachers are popping in and discussing things with them individually. On the 8th grade team, we've been doing a lot of things in Google Docs and giving individual feedback there. So which is familiar to the students, but on Canvas, here's a little video that I made for my students. And if you're an 8th grade parent, it's under videos about using Canvas. And students would get to it by clicking on modules, and they would see one of the items just says videos about using Canvas. And we just have a whole bunch of them. And this is just one of them. I think I best say it in this. That's why I'm going to play my own video of my own self explaining it.
So in this video, we were just talking about the items with the paper and the pencil where your teacher has given you feedback. Another way to get to assignments is by clicking on modules, and that's how I'm going to show you this time. Scroll to the assignment. Okay, this is the assignment that this student has already completed. To view your grade, look to the right. Right here, this student got 5 out of 5 points possible. Awesome. To view comments from your teacher, it's right here. This is the original one from the teacher. Wow, you have an excellent plan. Let me know if I can help. Okay. If you would like to respond to your teacher's comment, you can do that. So you can see how I've got some comments here from that example test student responding to the teacher. You do that by clicking on submission details. Okay, in submission details, over on the right side of the screen is this little gray box in which you can talk to your teacher. So you add a comment here. Now you can also attach a file. We really like it when you attach a screenshot if you're having a problem or had a problem with assignment, you got less than 5 out of 5 because you had a problem or don't understand something. Take a shot of that and upload it to your comment, and that can be really helpful. Or if you just want to talk it out and explain it to us, you can do this media comment. That means media is like a recording of your voice explaining, and you can also type your problem or whatever you want to say. Okay, so you can say something like, I didn't understand at first, but then I asked for help and I got it, and that was great, thanks.
Okay, just pausing it there because then I go over a few things that are specific for students. And notice this little resubmit button. This is also how students resubmit assignments, and we love resubmits at our school. We encourage that if you get less than 5 out of 5. Okay, so clicking on the actual assignment, and you'll see an area for feedback on the right. The other thing is some teachers have on the left side you click on the class, and then on the left side, see how there's only 3 appearing for this class. Some teachers are allowing another tab called grades. And if a student click on grades, they'd also be able to see it. On my team, we don't have the grades tab because Q Student Connect is the final grades place. And we just thought that would be too confusing. But the way some teams are using it, they have a grades tab there. But in the end, feedback on Canvas, by clicking on the assignment, final grades and Q Student Connect. Hope that didn't confuse things. questions about that?
I think that was helpful. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any questions for Mrs. Smith? Thank you for jumping in. I had planned to call on you and just see if there's any general updates you wanted to share about Canvas, but that actually worked out really well. If you have Canvas specific questions, or if you want some additional help or with this, in addition to talking to your teachers, your students, current teachers, you can reach out to Mrs. Smith. This is an actual duty, a real role. She's like our official Canvas expert, as sort of an extra duty she's taken on and done an amazing job with. And I know she's willing to help parents and share information. And so if you just want to learn more about or ask questions about Canvas, you can reach out to Mrs. Smith. We do still have, for a limited time, a few seats open at STrEAM Academy. 8th grade is pretty limited. I'll consider a really strong case for an 8th grader and talk with the 8th grade team. Those are our biggest cohorts right now. There are about 20 students, and we don't have an official cap, but sort of unofficially we don't want our sizes to be over 20. So, but it's not 100% out of the question. If there was a super compelling case for an 8th grader that just really fit our mission vision, someone that really was into project-based experiential learning and STEM and outdoor education and really gung-ho about STREAM, I would consider it. But primarily we have more seats. We have smaller cohorts because we have more teachers allocated for 6th and 7th grade. So we do have some seats available. We're in that time frame now to where, we're coming up on, we generally don't take students after the end of the first quarter. It becomes a much more difficult and much more of a case-by-case basis. So if you know students out there who are interested in STREAM Academy and be a great fit, refer them, send them our way. We'd want to get them enrolled for the end of the quarter. And if you make a referral of a student during the month of October, and the student is accepted and enrolls, we send you a free STREAM hoodie, courtesy of STREAM Academy, for that great referral. So wanted to put that out there. And also just a quick word, I wanted to talk a little bit about our facilities this morning. So as you know, we lease Wayland Baptist University. One of the questions I get a lot is, even pre-pandemic, and it has a different tenor now, is what's the overlap with college and STREAM Academy? When we're here in classes, like when we're face-to-face, the overlap is almost none. And there's no overlap with college students. So we have exclusive rights to our classrooms from 7:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. They can't be used by anyone else for anything else. We pay for that. And Wayland Baptist classes start at 6 o'clock p.m. So there's no overlap. Our students and the Wayland's college programs are really very separate programs. As far as, cleaning and safety protocols, we have all of our classrooms sanitized and cleaned at 4:30 before the evening classes, and then they do a full, thorough night cleaning. They have a night custodian after Wayland's classes every night that they clean and disinfect and do. So we actually have two times a day that the facility is cleaned and disinfected. Wayland is also on sort of a hybrid, what our proposal looks like for second quarter, which is sort of a hybrid virtual, where their students have the option to either attend in person or virtual. And most of Wayland's students for college classes, the vast majority are choosing to attend virtual. So their classes are, if any students, I've talked to several professors and they say, several of the professors I've talked to said there's no students are attending in person. They're all attending virtually. So there's not a lot of traffic. There are probably 10 adults in this building during the day on any given day, and 5 or 6 of those are STREAM employees, and then 4 or 5 Wayland employees here during the day. I did also want to share our board voted to approve. We had the opportunity, a rare and very, very important opportunity to expand. Wayland has limited space, but there is space that we don't lease and use. They offered us the opportunity to add 2 offices and a classroom, which is huge because adding a classroom allows us to then grow and take more students next year. And so that was really big. So we added on the main floor, we added 2 offices and a classroom. And the big news I think for Mrs. Bionich and I is it allows her and I to move our offices to the main floor, which puts us closer to the front entrance, closer to letting people in and out, to greeting students and families at the beginning and the end of the day, to managing, our program. It'll be a much more effective place for us to be. And it also allows us to grow in terms of, having adequate office space for our counselor and our instructional coach, project coordinator, Megan Gatlin. So it's all around a good thing. So sometime in October, Mrs. Bionich and I will be moving. Our offices will be on the main floor, just down the hallway when you come in, down the hallway to the right by our other classrooms on the main floor. So that's big news for us. And also our teachers don't have a workroom. They don't have a workspace. And that's difficult for them. So we are turning what is currently Mrs. Bionich's the front office. We are turning space exclusively into a teacher, where she is right now, into a teacher workroom. So the copier, the printer, a phone, fax machine, all of that, teachers will have a place where they can do all those things they need to do. So that's big news for us. And I wanted to touch on those. I also wanted to say we are, even though we're a ways off from having students in the building full-time face-to-face, our staff is regularly discussing, and Mrs. Bionich and I have been working, actually since July, have been working on establishing all of our safety protocols for face-to-face. Of course, we're waiting for more specific, we're following all district protocols, and we're waiting for some more specific guidelines that the district is working on right now as they plan for face-to-face returns. I put out a draft document of all of our safety protocols. Teachers have the opportunity to comment. I get really good teachers who are thinking about, they're excited to come back and be able to teach in person when it's safe, and they're also nervous, wanting to make sure we're doing everything possible, which is totally understandable. So I'm getting really good feedback from our staff saying, hey, what about this? What will we do when this happens? What will this look like? And so we're rounding out, we're developing some really specific and clear safety protocols that are specific to our building. Also talking with Dr. Ash, the dean at Wayland Baptist, regularly, making sure that our protocols mesh and that we have a communication protocol. For example, if the university has a positive COVID case, what does that look like for STrEAM? And so Dr. Ash and I are working on a system to where, I'll be notified, I'll notify the district, and we'll take measures, to respond if the university had a positive case, and then vice versa. If we have open and have students back in the building, or if we, even now with 5 employees around here, for some reason have a positive COVID case, we have to notify them. They'll have to, respond to that on the university side. So I just wanted to spend a little time talking about that today. The exciting news that we get to expand and add some space, that we're working really hard and communicating with ASD and with Wayland on cleaning and sanitizing and on all our protocols. So any questions? Anybody, anything that pops up with that? Every classroom will have a PPE kit. Mrs. Bionich, we acquired those supplies back in July, and the district's been adding to those supplies. Mrs. Bionich has been building actual kits. Each classroom has a box, a full kit. Mrs. Bionich, what is in those kits, those PPE cleaning supply kits?
The kits are extensive. It includes a first aid kit in case somebody gets a paper cut or picks a scab and needs a Band-Aid. They don't have to move in the hallway and come to see me in the front office. So there's a first aid kit in there. There's cleaning supplies in there. There's soap in there. There's gloves in 2 different sizes in there. There's facial tissues. there's the district gave us the chemical that they're using is called Pure Tabs. It's a hospital disinfectant that's very safe. And they gave us that, and I'm mixing up that. It's in powder form. And I'm mixing up that and putting that in bottles that have been appropriately labeled. We have the MSDS on file in the front office, and the school district has it. There's face shields for the teachers. There's extra masks because, you know, a teacher or a kid is going to come to school one day without a mask. It happened to me this morning. I got all the way here and didn't have a mask. So, but luckily, there's 8 million masks here in the building right now. Or a kid's going to drop one on the floor, and then they're going to need to, they can't put it back on their face once they drop it on the floor. So we have masks available. And as we go through the day we beta tested yesterday with a couple kids in the building. We noticed procedures that we need to help teach. And so as we go through the day and we find things that we need to add to the kit, I was adding stuff to the kit yesterday just to make sure that everyone in our building is safe and they don't have to worry about anything, and their brains can be on learning and not on fear.
Thank you. So I always periodically will kind of joke, but not really joke, about all of the different jobs Mrs. Bionich has and all the duties at a small school. And there's a position at regular schools called a BPO. Do you know what that stands for, Sylvia?
Building plant operator.
Building plant operator. It's what Steve Millions, and that was, I forget, that was the other thing I was going to share about Wayland facilities, is the Wayland facility manager, who's been so helpful and so awesome for our program since we started. Steve Millions retired. He's no longer here. So we're operating without someone in that role right now. And we're really super thankful for all of the guidance and support and partnership that with Steve over the years. So Sylvia's added BPO to her myriad of job duties and descriptions, because at the regular schools, the BPOs are mixing up the tabs and the spray bottles and putting together the cleaning kits and supply kits. And so secretary, registrar, admin assistant, nurse, and now BPO is another duty. It's too bad.
Okay. I love this school with all my heart.
Salaries of each of those duties, though.
Oh, okay.
I had a student, one of my high school students, when I was a principal in rural Alaska, make an offhanded comment to me, well, you know, whatever about whatever we're talking about, whatever, you're rich. And I'm like, rich? I mean, principals make a decent living, but I don't think I would describe myself as rich. And I was an itinerant principal. And so I oversaw 5 village schools. I was based out of the school, the main school in New Haven, Ileana, but I would fly to each of these other schools every month and check in. And he said, well, you're the principal of 5 schools, so you have like 5 principal salaries. You must be really rich. Like, nope, I don't get 5 salaries for being the principal of those 5 schools, unfortunately. Sylvia does not get 5 salaries for each of those 5 job duties, but that's duties as assigned. I'm proud to be the principal and the safety crossing guard and the janitor as well. All right, it's been a good day of morning coffee, and we're gonna wrap up and say goodbye. I'm sharing my screen, right? Let me hop back up here. Upcoming dates for morning coffee. We have morning coffee next week, and we have to look at what we have on the agenda. We have a morning coffee the same day as our APC meeting on the 14th. That's in 2 weeks. And so Mrs. Yip, if you're available, if you want to talk a little bit about APC and what's on the agenda, we'd be glad to give you some time. Then the next morning coffee will fall right in line with the start of second quarter. The 11th of November, we have no school, and that is also an APC meeting day. So we have no school, but we will most likely still have morning coffee on that day, because I'm still going to be working, and we'll again, talk APC things. So wanted to share that. And as we wrap up today, I want to just finish with the We had the author of Passion for Kindness, Tamara Letter, last week. Our focus words for this year for our, the two books we read together are inspiration and kindness. And just want to encourage everyone, spread those small acts of kindness. I've been sharing that with students when I get a chance to talk to our students. I love her idea. I know one of our board members, Jen Mickelson's been practicing this. Try to post one positive or kind thing every day on your social media, and just try to inspire others through those small acts of kindness. So we'll end on that note. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you today for a great morning coffee, and I'll stay on for a few more minutes, but we'll start to close up and say, have a great day.